yellow light. On a clear, sunny Minnesota spring morning, Tom awakes tired, not in the mood for work. Tom clumsily and half-heartedly gets into the shower. He dries himself off, pulls on pants, buttons his shirt, and pushes a tie through loops and pulls, securing it tight around his neck. He crams his feet into his snug leather work shoes, grumbling as he does, glancing longingly at his pillow. Tom feels stressed these days with work. He walks out of the bedroom and stands at the top of the stairs where he can see his wife in the kitchen in her long baby blue robe, trying to be quiet while making her morning tea. Tom watches her silently and then jumps when the teapot starts screeching. Tom stomps down to his wife angrily. "Do you always have to make that much damn noise in the morning?" he barks, and walks out the door. A frowning Marlena turns the stovetop down. Tom always takes his anger out on her. His pattern is to get angry with her and then apologize. Fresh flowers still stand in a vase on the kitchen table from an apology the week before. Marlena's had it. She grabs the flowers to pull them from the vase and crumple them into the garbage when the long stems catch the inside of the vase. It tips, rolls off the table, and shatters onto the floor. The front door is open on this warm, still spring morning when the shatter startles a group of bright yellow birds. The birds immediately take flight and begin flying away from the house low to the ground, as birds sometimes do. A neighbor's cat that had been in the yard watching the birds starts after them. The birds fly towards the street with the cat close behind. Just as the cat pushes off the curb to gain speed, a man in a speeding car comes screeching to a stop and runs the cat over. A woman in a shiny new van behind the stop car slams on her brakes, quickly pulls her steering wheel to the left, and hits a mailbox on the opposite side of the street. Not wanting to be late again for work, she backs up and hurries off, ignoring the upset mailbox owners who run outside yelling. The woman in the van is shaking and scared, reaches into her glove compartment for her secret stash of cigarettes, and smokes all the way to work. In the work parking lot, while trying to balance a cigarette and a glass bowl full of salad for a team potluck, she drops the bowl and it shatters. Not wanting to be late again, she scrapes up what she can and runs into work. A curly-haired woman pulls into the empty spot next to the van and hears a pop. Upon inspection, a flat tire. The curly-haired woman scowls and goes into work to make a fix-it phone call. She grows more irritated throughout the day, and when she picks up her work phone thinking it's the tire place returning her call, she's very short and hangs up abruptly when it's her business partner from California instead. The California partner hangs up angry. When his dog barks in the front yard by the fence, he runs out there yelling and gives his dog a hard kick in the side. The dog whimpers and growls in pain. A young blonde girl comes walking down the sidewalk in front of the yard with the angry dog behind the fence. The dog growls at her, so she taunts him by growling back. The dog lunges, grabs her shirt in his teeth, and rips part of the sleeve off. The blonde girl is so busy tending to the ripped sleeve of her favorite shirt, she doesn't notice the car coming while crossing the street. A mother and her cheerleader daughter come screeching to a halt. The mother yells angrily at her cheerleader daughter about teenagers having no care or respect in the world. This angers her cheerleader daughter, who is dropped off at school in a mad spell. When the cheerleader walks into school and sees a girl with electric blue hair laughing, the cheerleader tells her she is ugly. The electric blue-haired girl takes it out on her teacher that always wears the sweaters. The teacher that always wears the sweaters takes it out on his girlfriend, another teacher who takes it out on her class. One of the high school football players argues back and gets detention. After detention, the football player stops on the grocery store on his walk home. He takes his anger out on the cashier just because she's a little bit slow at ringing up his food. This is the last customer of the cashier's shift. This is the cashier's last customer. The cashier walks home with her head down. When she reaches the bridge that stretches over the 6-lane highway connecting the outer parts of the busy city to her neighborhood on the other side, she stops. The cashier climbs the railing in the middle of the bridge, steps over to the other side, and drops just as the semi-truck blares its alarming horn. The skid marks remain on the road long after the funeral ends 5 days later. The next morning, back in Minnesota, Tom watches the news about a girl who committed suicide by jumping into oncoming traffic. Marlena comes into the room and tells Tom about the neighbor's cat being run over in front of their house. Tom crosses his arms and frowns. What has that got to do with me? A different day, a different place. On a cloudy, wet Michigan spring morning, Aiden awakes tired, not in the mood for work. Aiden clumsily and half-heartedly gets into the shower. He dries himself off, pulls on pants, buttons his shirt, and pushes a tie through loops and pulls, securing it tight